chains and the belt, and they're going to go down. They're going to talk a little bit about their roles and responsibilities, especially when it comes to whether it's media, narrative storytelling, and more when it comes to esports and gaming. So.
Alright, so what's up, y'all? Hip Hop Gamer with Hot 97 and Logitech G. What up? What up? The last panel they said something that was dope in terms of parenting. So this is my grandma's right here on my belt. You know what I'm saying? This is my grandma's. She taught me how to play games when I was 4 years old, and now it's my career today. So my grandma's instilled something in me. So what they said was very true, because I'm living my dream because of my grandma, you know what I'm saying? So y'all can catch me on 97, catch me on Logitech. I'm a character in video games such as Watch Dogs 2 and NBA 2K, Playgrounds 1 and 2. I'm also an artist, so I make songs for the video games as well. I do philanthropy, so I have gaming and guidance programs, so I visit schools every month. And the dope thing about that is we all know that there's a problem with the community and the police and all that other stuff. So what I did was I took kids and cops and made them play together in a 2K 2-on-2 tournament. And it was incredible when you understand the power of the relationship that's built through the platform of gaming and conversation. So it's a blessing what we're doing out here in gaming. Thank you for the support. That's who I am. Let's get it, baby.
How's everybody doing? My name is Corey, but I go by the Black Hokage online, or TBH for short. And I am a content creator online, YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff. I do podcasts, video game reviews, and I'm also the creator of the Game Illuminaughty, which I could probably say is something that I started back in the day, which is a Black-owned website. It's all the staff is Black, and a couple they're Dominican. I mean, they Black. You know, y'all know that. That's a fact. So I'm the owner of that, the Illuminaughty, and I create content, game reviews, all that stuff.
Awesome.
All right.
Hola, hello, does this work?
Okay.
There we go. Hello, my name is Nars. My name is Nars. I am TV host and Chat Esports. I'm also a content creator and streamer. I've worked with like Walmart, iBuyPower, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Wargaming. I've worked with the Microsoft Store. I usually do women in gaming events here and at Samsung as well as 368. I'm all about supporting my Latinas. Where are my Latinas at?
All right.
But yeah, I do a lot in New York City specifically. I've been a journalist for the past 8 years. I actually started this
it's the homie right here.
Back bumming it when we were trying to do it at our own place, and just seeing everyone, seeing all of us kind of rise up is probably a testimony that what we're doing, we're on the right track.
I am Kevin Webb. I'm a gaming and tech reporter for Business Insider and a competitive Street Fighter player, I guess since 2006, the first time I went to Chinatown Fair. And I've also done, event organization and like streaming and the like, so got a lot of, jack of all trades, something like that.
So as you see, all of them have differing backgrounds, but at the end of the day, they all are similar because they are helping to tell the diverse perspectives and stories in this industry. Now I want to ask you guys, as people of color, how has your experience been, especially when it comes to spotlighting and highlighting the diverse storylines and perspectives, and even just diverse gamers in this space? We always talk about, especially when it comes to this scene, how like mainstream media is now paying attention, but there's been so many people, all of you, started early on, and some even people since the beginning. But how has your guys' experience been like? Kevin, I want to start with you.
I am mainstream media now, so that's been an experience in and of itself. I guess as a traditional journalist, it's interesting to interact and just see how decisions get made on an editorial team, to have to justify the things that you're covering, to see the ways that people omit just like basic racial critiques of what they're writing and how they're thinking about things. So I think it's been a battle both to find things that are valuable and that fit what my editors want, but also to sit and look at what other people are putting out and make sure that things aren't going out that are tone deaf, and just that.
Nars?
I to add to that, I feel like because I'm a woman also, and women don't necessarily play video games, there's an extra level of kind of like combat and obstacles and challenges I have to face. Sometimes I would literally not be offered an opportunity just because I was a woman. And a lot of the times it's, if you are the only woman at the table and you say something, sometimes you're not even heard. And that was probably the hardest thing ever, because I've been a journalist for the past 9 years. And it wasn't until the past 4 years that I actually started to see headway. It was just because at that time, when I guess esports was kind of like coming up in 2012, 2011, 2013, having a woman in the scene was kind of just weird and it was just unnatural. So just having to take that extra step to understand that this isn't about me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not a failure. I don't have to write a thesis or a dissertation to prove that I'm a gamer. The fact that I play games and I love them and enjoy them, that should be sufficient enough. And so for me, I had to go an extra mile. So I would do everything I can. If I was writing a review about a game, or in my case, I was writing about video game psychology. And so I was trying to dissect why people behave certain ways in games. And the game that I picked was League of Legends. And so I started writing about why there was such toxicity in League of Legends. And I got picked up by a big guy in Riot Games, like, you stole my idea, and then ended up meeting me later, and I was like, you stole my idea. But nonetheless, you have to understand that it's not ever a reflection of you. You have to just keep grinding. Because at the end of the day, this industry, not to say that it's any different than any other industry, but it asks more from you. But the rewards are so worth it.
And just quickly before you, Corey, I just want to add, especially being a woman, you have to learn how to navigate conversations, because if you talk too passionately, they say you're emotional. Or if you speak up for what is right, they say you're difficult. Especially as a Black woman, I've had a production company recently say I was difficult because they didn't like that I spoke up. And that's another thing that we have to navigate in this space as well.
Can I actually speak to the women thing in the industry?
Yes.
I would just like to say to everybody, I mean, not only should you be kind to your sisters because, you know, we all people, but I can tell you from working in this industry, 9 times out of 10, when it comes to dealing with these companies, the PR people are women. And you better check your sexist attitude at the door, because you can end up messing up opportunities for yourself, and then you're gonna have to learn the hard way. So it's like, you better just be nice to everybody, like she was saying, with the whole, you know, people saying, oh, you're a woman gamer, you can't do that. So I always tell people that, you know, be cool with the women, because it can end up, you can learn the hard way. But as far as my own personal experiences, I will say it's hit or miss, because I'm an online content creator. I get to control my own message. So like me telling my story has been fine because I do all the editing. But in terms of going to events and dealing with brands and like industry people, like I've been shut out of events. I play both sides of the fence in terms of media, and I've been invited to events where I'm supposed to be VIP. My name is on the list, and then I get there and they tell me that you don't look like media, even though I got my ID card. You know, even though my name is like, no, you don't look like media. I've had people tell me you're too confident, we can't let you. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my experience on the industry side hasn't been the best, but I mean, you get in where you fit in. There's good people everywhere too.
Alright, real talk, let's get into it. So check this out, right? My first time I went to E3 in 2008, right? Went there and you know, I had a John Cena belt, like, you know, so it's different and stuff like that, right? So I go there, I'm excited because in my mind, you know, I played games with my grandma growing up, so I have a different level of excitement. So I get there and like I met up with some people at IGN, right? And then you know, I was excited just to meet everybody. And the first thing was like, well, what are you doing here? Like immediately, like, you don't belong. Like, that was the energy. I don't remember the person's name because they're not in the industry no more. But like, that happened. I was like, and for a minute I was like, yo, this is crazy, because you see one thing on the front, but in the back, like, yo, stuff is different. So it gave me a lot of good energy though, because what I did was, I never worked for a game company, and never. I've always been independent, out the gate, you know what I'm saying? I started with a PS3 camera in my room next door to my grandma's, and just started talking to the world on YouTube, because I was watching Adam Sessler from G4 TV. And even though I love what he was doing, the corporation started to get to his voice. And things wasn't real anymore. He started saying stuff that, you know, real gamers ain't gonna talk like that. So I was like, you know what, I don't complain, I create. So I started my own brand, built my own business, and instead of working for companies, I partnered with them. You understand what I'm saying? So the negativity that came my way, I used it as something of strength. And I also came across the quote, character is your currency. Because through my experience, I started to understand that the value is always in who you are, not in what you have. What you have is the byproduct, but who you are is what the value is. So when I realized my value, instead of going to them, I made everybody come to me. You know what I'm saying? And when you understand the value that you bring to the table, then revenue starts to generate, people start to understand you more, because now when you got the power in the hearts of the culture, that's something that they don't got. They got money, but they can't buy what's real. So when you become real, everything is attracted to you, and then you control the narrative within yourself and the big businesses that try to play you first. Facts.
So all of you, at some point in your experience, you've had pushback from whether it's people in the community or whether it's people who are mainstream or on the business side. So how do you guys navigate, right? One, for the people who are in the mainstream, like you said, having to explain things and to have ideas come to fruition even though they don't understand or they don't want to put in initial support, or how do you also have these important conversations when it comes to cultural appropriation, sexism, racism, from a community that is so passionate sometimes about the game and industry that I feel like there's blind spots and there's certain conversations they don't want to have.
Can I go? All right, cool. So I'll take this one. So a lot of times, people try so hard to fit in and try to understand you without listening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Without like actually allowing you to take control. So what I tell certain people is this: I'm like, yo, look, this is how we're gonna work this out. I know you may not understand something, and that's fine. But in order for us to work, I need you to come here and be a part of what I'm trying to build. Because the thing is, you can't copy and paste this. Just because you did something over here doesn't mean you can paste it, it's gonna work over here. So I generated a lot of success there. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. You got people in the industry like Michael Packer. Like this is my bro. Love Michael Packer. He's one of the first people to embrace me in the industry. That's a white person, as well as Scott Fry, who used to be with Ubisoft. And they came up to me saying, yo, I'm gonna tell you something. You're the realest, most purest person in the industry. A lot of times we deal with people because we have to, because of the business, but we don't even want to deal with a lot of these people. And when we see you, we see something, you really love what you're doing. So I think that we can change the narrative of sexism and racism and things of that nature by the way you carry yourself. The energy that you put out there, you will attract people that understand it. And then when you have those conversations, their position of power becomes your position of power. Because now they understand that the value is higher than just a dollar sign. They need to do something that's going to impact the culture. That worked for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody else. But when you create an understanding and have the conversations, not everybody's out to get you. But when you have a conversation, understand that there can actually be a relationship, that changes the narrative of the value of the business and the culture that you're trying to impact.
I think if you see something, say something, because what I've learned is, as I've gotten older, is not all of it is racism. Some of it is just ignorance. The school system has failed us all, is what I found out. It has failed us all in the sense that, a lot of times, they deal with us in the workplace, but then they don't have to deal with us at home, so then their experiences are very limited. So then when we play games that they make, I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of cornrows. Yes, we have afros and cornrows, but I'm tired of that when you create a character. And that ignorance comes from the lack of, talking to one another. So I think that it's not all just racism. We can do our part to speak more to one another, to those who are willing to be our allies, at least I would say.
And just to add to that, if someone is robbing your voice or someone's robbing your character, you can say no. If someone's offering you an opportunity to grow, but it's absolutely depreciating yourself as a person, your value, making you work painless hours and not appreciating your work, it's okay to say no, and it's okay to step away. There are going to be more opportunities in the future, and you're going to find yourself with a group of people that are going to appreciate for who you are and going to want you to grow.
I could actually give an example of that. I had a big brand that I was dealing with last year. I ain't gonna say them, big brand in the industry. They came to me, they didn't want to pay me. It was an energy drink. They didn't want to pay me like everybody else. Top of the year, 2020, they came back and he's like, look, man, I apologize how I treated you. You know, I shouldn't have said the things that I said. Once he looked into my numbers and he saw my value. So like she said, stay on your ground. You know, if they don't want to pay, they don't want to give you the exposure, you don't got to deal with them. Because at the end of the day, they came to you. And that's what it matters.
Facts.
I guess working at a mainstream outlet, something I realized quickly was that this diversity mission is like a second job. It's going to tax you. It is additional work. It's additional work that a lot of times your coworkers are not here for. They're not going to show up for it, and you have to take it upon yourself to, stand up and say something. Sometimes you have to argue till you're so frustrated and walk away and come back, but that's what I do internally. On the external side, like you said, sometimes it's not even intentional, the types of exclusion that happen. I think Wargroove was the game that had a big DLC patch where they added brown characters, a whole race of brown characters. You can now play as brown characters, but they're all voiced by white people. So what? We gotta ask them about that. And when they were asked, it was like, oh, well, I don't know. And sure enough, I've been in rooms. Like I got to playtest Star Wars. And one of the first things I asked was like, okay, so what made you guys want to make the character white? You know, it's set in space. We could have aliens. It could be a four-armed dude if we wanted. You could have all the lightsabers. And they're like, oh, we sat down and this is what we got to. And sometimes it's not a great answer, but that amount of pushback at least brings some kind of awareness.
I want to add to that real quick. So let me tell y'all something that happened, right? So Microsoft, right, when they was doing Fable. Now, anybody that remembers Fable, that was like a big title for them, like how Gears of War and Halo is and stuff like that, right? There's a reason why it's not a big title that much no more. So let me tell you what happened, right? To piggyback on what you're saying. So the next Fable that was supposed to come out a few years ago, the cover art was supposed to be of a black person. And in a business meeting, the publishers, they didn't want it to be a black person because they felt it's not going to sell. Like, black people's not going to buy this game, and that goes back to the stereotype that we only play 2K or we only play Madden. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing that allowed me and like all of us to break down barriers in the industry. Because when I was interviewing Hideo Kojima for Metal Gear Solid, and I'm talking to Square Enix about Final Fantasy, they're like, yo, you know this stuff? Yeah, I know this stuff. I know stuff better than you know your own game. I play it that much, bro. You serious? So the thing is, what's so crazy about what you're saying is like even at the top. That's why Decoy, I love y'all, bro. That's why Decoy games are so important because they don't just develop, they publish. So they got the right to do whatever they want to do with their game so we can experience it. That's why they need our support. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, focus, bro.
Yes. So at the end of the day, education and educating people is an important thing, whether it is educating those who are ignorant, whether it's educating the community, or even just cultural education, right? We have publishers that are in Japan, and culturally, they don't understand certain contexts that are in the Western culture, right? But we have time for one question for any of the panelists up here. Does anyone have anything they would like to ask? Yep, speak loud.
All right.
Your name?
Ralph. Game industry. But do you feel that there's like a huge divide within like gamers and like esports the next like two publishers that it's just not actually like trying to bridge?
Wait, say that again?
Do you guys feel that there's been such a huge divide and disconnect within the game industry between like gamers and publishers and like everyone in esports?
That's interesting.
Are you trying to say like you feel like money is?
I'm gonna try and like break down if there's like a way of line communication, because if you look at the way the game industry's been interacting with each other lately, with developers like Game Freak, other like AAA publications and gamers, like there's arguments with gamers, arguments.
I think the industry is so new. We're still kind of figuring that part out. Because I mean, like if you think about it, a lot of games that become esports, they become esports just because people love the game. Like Game Freak wasn't planning for Pokemon. Nobody expected Pokemon to be competitive. Let's be real here. The same thing with like Smash Bros. So it's like when that happens, it kind of comes to their door, and then maybe they don't know what to do with it. And I think that's why there's a miscommunication on that. I would say give that one time in terms of finding the publishers and getting online with them.
Now you can take it. You take it.
I would agree that you might have to give it some time just with the newness of the industry, but I think it also varies from game to game. I think that Certain publishers just have a different relationship with literally the esport, like publishers like Activision who run their own leagues obviously are more in touch with players than developers in Japan who are, trying to support grassroots events that have thousands of players at once and just trying to figure out the best way to do it. So I think you have to really decide that when you're getting into different esports, what your expectations in terms of community sport, how often you want the game to be updated, all that good stuff.
One thing, just wrap up that part is when it comes to the relationship, I think that's what you're talking about, like the relationship between the gamer and the publisher when it comes to the growth or the success of this game potentially being an esport or something like that. I think that when it comes to, content and context is what's missing. So when you look at the game, right, whether it's Street Fighter, you got the league, we made it a league. You know what I'm saying? We grew up with it, we played it, so they saw that they rock with it on this level, let's create a platform because they already do it. And that makes them confident and comfortable investing in it because they already see that it's done. So I think the conversation that needs to be had is if the gamers really love a certain game and they want it to be more, they have to make more of it to get the attention of the people that's willing to spend and invest in it. I think that would be the best way to go.
I would have to say, to everyone's point, this is great, but there are times where there is a disconnect. Specifically when it comes to Super Smash Bros. Nintendo has still yet to fail to support the industry and provide resources for the Smash scene. And they consistently are doing everything from a grassroots level. And that's literally how it always starts, from a grassroots level. League of Legends started out from a grassroots level. Halo started out from a grassroots level. Call of Duty, CSGO, Street Fighter started out from a grassroots level. And they had to pay attention because when people were making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the prize pool, they wanted the publishers a part of that. So what did they do? They took their IP and they said, we were going to make our own leagues and tournaments. The problem is that when you don't respect the gamers and the culture that you have obviously created, there becomes a divide. And then you see that these gamers are going to do their own thing. That's the thing. Regardless if the publisher continues to support them or not, they're going to keep doing what they want to do. The Smash scene is going to continue going. NK is not at EVO, but they're still doing another tournament. So it doesn't matter. If you love the game and you want to create the community with your friends, with the other gamers. F the publisher at the end of the day, because if they're not going to support it, then obviously they're not going to get your money.
Get them, Lars.
Hey, let's go! Woo! Let's go! Give us some on that, son. Woo! Talking about. You got chills on that one, B.
Despite all the disconnect, despite all of the divide, at the end of the day, we have to educate and come together. And that's the only way that we are going to continue to thrive and build. Guys, thank you so much for being on this panel. Also, thank you so much to all the rest of the panelists. Some great, needed, little intense conversations. Very black conversations. They're all great conversations.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you'll never miss another video. Also, consider pledging my Patreon. It helps keep the lights on. There's a link in the description box below. Peace.